Alright, good morning YouTubers. Today we're going to show you the quickest way to pull off the head on a 5.7 Vortec. We got a 98 K1500 here, and we're just going to pull off one side. We got valve issues on this side. It's causing misfires. The other side has been done recently. My theory is because it's straight piped, it's causing burnt valves. Common problem in these Chevys. So anyways, we got a misfire. We're going to take care of it. We got compression. I did a compression test using a compression tester with a reverse method. I pulled out the valve core and hooked up an air compressor to that end of it. Made sure the piston was up all the way as close as it can be to the spark plug so that the valves are shut, ready for combustion on each cylinder. Screwed it in the spark plug hole, put pressure to it, and then listened. And if you have a bad intake valve, then you're going to have a hissing noise coming out of your air intake. If you have a bad exhaust valve, then obviously you're going to hear air coming through your exhaust, your tailpipe. If you do, then there's no way around it other than to pull your head off to take the valves out. So we do have that problem in this truck, so we're just going to show a time-lapse video. I'm going to try to set the phone in a place y'all can see, and we'll show a time-lapse video. That way you don't miss anything. I like to take off the upper shroud to give me some more extra room, pull off this AC compressor. Now, if you don't take this, you want to try not to take that off, so you just leave that on. I always just flip it over to that corner over there and set it up there by the overflow tank, and it's out of the way. Sometimes it'll want to slip down. Maybe you should bungee cord it. Obviously, before you do that, take off serpentine belt, take this off, and this bracket down here, this whole assembly, it holds the power steering pump and everything. You can actually just loosen the nut down at the bottom, the nut up here, and a couple of bolts, and you can slide this forward. You don't have to take it completely out. You can just barely leave it sitting in there on the stud, just enough to slide that valve cover out. Take off the manifold bolts. Usually I can get away with just taking off the manifold bolts and prying it back enough to get to the bottom head bolts. If you can do that, great. If not, then you're going to have to at least loosen, if not take off, the flange gasket bolts down there. Once those are out of the way, you're going to want to take off the intake. And in order to do that, you got to pull out the distributor, move these wiring harnesses out of your way. Now, when you pull out the distributor, make sure that you take a picture of it, mark it, whatever you want to do, as many ways as possible to make sure that you put the distributor back in the same way as you pulled it out. Otherwise, you'll be here all day trying to get the truck started. And if you're not good enough at it, then you just might seize the motor, not having the oil pump pumping while you're trying to figure out where the timing is supposed to be set. So do that. If you're not comfortable with that, then set the motor to top dead center. Make sure that the rotor button and the rotor is turned to cylinder number 1 before you even pull it out. That way when you put it in, you'll know that's where it needs to be. And then lastly, people typically forget about this when they're ripping on stuff and they're trying to take the intake out. I know it sounds stupid, but those two little fuel lines bend over behind that, where that distributor is back there, and there's a bracket bolt. You can you leave the bracket bolt in, but you need to disconnect the two lines just past that bolt. That's how I do it. Some people like to take it off up there. To me, it's a whole lot less headache. You take it off back there. I believe they're 5/8 wrenches. You can pull those off, no problem. They line right back up. You don't have to bend anything, pry anything. And I think that's everything. So, like I said, I'm going to try to put this phone in a place where y'all can see, so you can kind of move along with me every step of the way. I know it's helpful for me when I can see a video like that and I can pause it and I can rewind and I can see every little thing that I missed. So instead of me just giving you segments. So wish me luck.